Become a threat without saying a word. Learn to move like a shadow. To exist like a danger that announces itself only when necessary. Because true menace does not brag, it does not scream, it's simply island. The loudest voice in the room is seldom the one who decides the outcome. People confuse sound with power. They mistake noise for dominance. But the one who makes others quiet with a look, the one who changes the atmosphere by walking into a place he is the one who actually holds power. Power is silent. Power is invisible until it acts. If you want to become dangerous without speaking, you must first become invisible in the ways that matter. Invisible in your ambitions, invisible in your strength, invisible in your plans. Do not show the world the size of your hunger. Hide it like a blade tucked beneath your coat. Let others boast about battles they never finished while you train in silence. Let them light torches to reveal themselves. You will be the one who moves when the torches go out. Learn to be patient, because patience is a weapon. When the crowd rushes to impress, when people spill their intentions like cheap liquor, you will be the one calm enough to wait for the exact moment to tilt the board. The quiet man is always underestimated. The underestimated man is always dangerous. Let them underestimate you. Let their scorn and mockery sharpen your focus. While they celebrate their own noise, you sharpen your edge with solitude and discipline. Practice restraint. Speak only when saying something is unavoidable. Move only when movement gives you advantage. Every unnecessary word, every needless explanation, every clumsy gesture is information given away to those who will use it against you. If you reveal enough of yourself to be read, you lose the element of surprise. And surprise is currency in the world of dominance. So cultivate silence like armor. Let silence fill the room around you like a dense fog. Uncomfortable for those accustomed to noise. Make them aware of an absence they can't name, an absence that leaves them uneasy, that makes them check their words twice, that turns confident laughter into nervous glances. That unease is your signature. That tension is your mark. In the silence you carry, people will start to look for reasons. They will project fear onto you because they cannot control what they cannot predict. Use that to your advantage. Train your posture until it becomes a language. Stand like someone who has already taken everything he needs. Not arrogant, not overt, simply balanced between potential energy and action. When you enter a room, let your walk be the question no one can answer. Is he a threat? The way you hold yourself must be economical. No wasted motion, no frantic gestures, no desperate flailing for attention. Let your stillness be loud. Let the small, deliberate movements you make be the only statements you ever need. Eyes communicate more than voices. Learn to look like you are counting outcomes. Make your gaze calm, precise, like a scalpel measuring distance. Let your stare linger a hair too long, only when it needs to. And when it does, watch how jaws tighten, how hands retreat, how confidence crumbles. Cultivate that effect. But beware, do not stare like a fool. Control it. Make your look surgical, not theatrical. Your voice will be a weapon when used, but most of the time it should be asleep. When you finally speak, the silence beforehand should magnify every syllable. A single sentence from you should feel like the strike after a long calm. Simple, inevitable, final. Let your words be few and heavy, then the world will remember them. There is power in absence. The person who is always present is easy to ignore. The person who is rare becomes valuable, and value breeds leverage. So make your presence strategic. Appear less. Appear with purpose. Be the person people wait for, not the one who begs for attention. Become disciplined in your habits. The external menace begins with interior iron. A sloppy life cannot forge a quiet threat. Sleep on time. Train your body until it feels like a loaded spring. Read until your mind is full of patterns others miss. Build routines that sharpen you daily. Small rituals of discipline compound until you stand unshakable. Quiet danger is mostly preparation disguised as normalcy. Keep your circle small. The louder your entourage, the less menace you have. People who parade allies like trophies dilute the threat. They announce weakness instead of strength. The truly dangerous man travels light emotionally and socially. He keeps the list of those he trusts short and the list of those he studies long. Learn to read people like books with dog-eared pages. Notice where they pause, what they avoid, how their fingers twitch when they lie. Patterns reveal intentions if you watch long enough. Let others talk. Listening is the craft of the strategist. When someone offers you information, do not be tempted to reciprocate with equal openness. Let them bleed details while you remain intact. Knowledge is power. The man who knows enough to move but never reveals his sources keeps people off balance. Build a reputation for unpredictability. Predictable men are controlled men. If your moves are always obvious, they can be countered. Habit kills menace. Break patterns occasionally to remind observers that you are not a machine with repeatable output. Leave some spontaneity. Make people guess your next move. Uncertainty is a lever. Yet do not confuse unpredictability with chaos. The quiet threat is deliberate. The difference between a chaotic person and a dangerous one is calculation. Chaos is noise. The dangerous man orchestrates silence until the precise moment to pull the strings. Let your unpredictability be a demonstration of depth, not of instability. Develop an aura of competence. Competence is the silent headline that follows you. When a man is competent, he does not need to explain. Tasks are completed, promises kept, problems vanish. Competence creates confidence in others' minds, and fear in those who wish to test you. Train until your hands make things happen without second thought. Let your reputation be that of someone who gets things done efficiently, quietly, without spectacle. The more discreet your success, the more it disturbs others. Use environment as your ally. Control of space is control of perception. How you arrange your surroundings, cleaned corners, purposeful objects. Minimal distraction sends a signal. A room that reflects discipline broadcasts danger in a language the undisciplined cannot parse. When you meet people, take note of how they move in their own space. Are they comfortable? Do they respect order? Those who cannot manage small spaces cannot manage larger ones. Let your environment be a mirror of your inner control. Invest in silence in other ways: financial security, intellectual independence, emotional restraint. Money and knowledge are mute weapons. They do not shout, they simply exist and alter outcomes. When you can act without asking permission, you become a threat to those who must always ask. Financial autonomy makes you unpredictable and uncoercible. Intellectual independence lets you see the ends of plans others cannot even imagine. Emotional restraint denies provocateurs the satisfaction of reaction. The quieter your anchors, the louder the impression you leave. Carry purpose like a heavy coat. Wear it everywhere. Men with purpose do not ask permission to be. Their existence is an argument that cannot be defeated with rumor or insult. If you live by purpose rather than by validation, the world cannot easily remove your center. That inner North Star keeps motion aligned. Train your hands for both violence and elegance. The threat that is also refined is terrifying because it spans worlds. One who can break down a problem and then brew a cup of tea with the same hand scares those who live only in extremes. Versatility creates instability in the minds of opponents. They cannot pigeonhole you, so they overcompensate with fear. Speak softly about your capabilities. Loudly demonstrate results. Let your track record be the testimony that grows louder in other people's heads. When your actions accumulate, silence becomes heavy with meaning. Make your absence felt. Let the places you leave seem emptier and the rooms you enter feel sharper. Unnecessary talk is cheap. The person who stays away from cheap things preserves worth. Never apologize for the quiet. The quiet is not rudeness, it is calibration. The calibrated man measures energy like currency and spends it with intent. Do not waste energy on petty disputes. Save your reactions for moments that matter. The world will throw provocation at you constantly. Every insult is bait. If you take the bait, you give up leverage. When you walk away from nonsense, you teach others that your resources, attention, anger, time are not to be trifled with. Let your indifference be a wall. Indifference is not cruelty. It is contract enforcement. People test limits when they believe they can manipulate emotion. Deny them the weapon. Practice micro-violence of routine. Wake early while the world dreamlessly scrolls. Lift until your muscles remember pain as a friend. Read until common sense becomes obvious and situational gaps appear like chasms. Reduce indulgence until your appetite for comfort dissolves. Small, repeated austerities teach your body and mind to tolerate absence, to prefer readiness over pleasure. When discomfort becomes familiar, you become an alien creature to those who resent the rigor of self-command. Your endurance will frighten them because it demonstrates a structure they cannot emulate without dismantling their entire life. The silent threat often wears neutral faces. Learn to have one. Emotions are signals. The man whose face is a stone denies others feedback. He keeps them guessing and anxious. That anxiety is a tool, but caution: do not become unreadable to yourself. Practice journaling, reflection, private rituals that let you process so the mask doesn't crack under pressure. The mask must be chosen, not accidental. Keep your defeats private and your lessons public in reverse. Let your progress be visible as results, not confessions. Pride without noise, actions without proclamation, tools without clanging. Remember, fear of you is more valuable than admiration. Fear speeds decisions, makes others cautious, and ensures they do not cross lines carelessly. Respect is slow, fear is immediate. If you can make someone hesitate before acting, you have already bent reality around them. To become a threat, cultivate a precise moral darkness. Not that you must become cruel for cruelty's sake, but understand morality is flexible when outcomes matter. Fixed righteousness is a bind. Those who hold rigid public morals can be manipulated because their options are limited. The one who chooses from principles, not from perfunctory virtue, will always have more paths to walk and more edges to exploit. That edge keeps opponents uncertain. Keep allies close and information closer. Privilege the quiet loyalty of those who know your worth without needing applause. Reward those who act in silence, too. The network of silent operators is more dangerous than a parade of noisy supporters. Train to tolerate loneliness. Most men never handle extended solitude because they built themselves on the presence of others. The man who thrives alone loses the need to perform. He becomes unbound to narratives others design. He creates his own story in the dark, and that story always surprises. Make your social media a desert of content or a map of curated absence. The person who is always online cannot be mysterious. Modern noise is the camouflage of weakness. Remove it. Learn to let rumors do your work. Let others fear you for what they imagine rather than what you announce. The human mind fills gaps with worst-case scenarios. Use that. When people do not know the full measure of you, they often imagine more than what is real, and imagined threats are harder to rationalize away. Use scarcity. Make your time expensive. When people know you are hard to access, they will value and fear your presence more. This is strategic scarcity, not arrogance. Availability is a form of power leakage. Fix the leak. Remember, threats cannot be sustained without maintenance. Train daily. Reflect nightly. Prune relationships that sap energy. Maintain finances that allow independent action. Continue education to expand strategic options. Complacency is the killer of menace. The quiet threat is never satisfied. It is always improving. When someone tries to provoke you publicly, let silence be your answer. Let posture be your announcement. Let your subsequent movement be decisive. The reaction should be surgical, not theatrical, precise enough to solve the problem, clean enough to prevent escalation, absolute enough to prevent recurrence. After action, return to silence. The world will overreact, filling in stories. Let those stories work for you. When you must negotiate, never let emotion lead. Calm determines price. A man who is calm can demand concessions without screaming. He can take more by appearing unhurried. When others are frantic, the calm man chooses. The one who controls tempo controls the negotiation. Train to be fluent in stillness. Stillness is not passivity, it is compressed force. It stores potential. It readies the body and mind for the exact second to act. Observe leaders you fear. Most of them are loud before their first decisive move. Avoid that pattern. Be the economy of motion, far-reaching reserves of energy spent in one efficient strike. Cultivate an unpredictable reputation in small things so large things fall like dominoes. Let people misread the size of your reserves until the moment you deploy them. And finally, understand dignity in the absence of applause. The man who becomes a threat without speaking is a sculptor of perception. He carves into the air a presence so dense that sound becomes irrelevant. He earns legend through hushed mentions, not self-promotion. He moves in silence, and the world rearranges itself around him slowly, subtly, inexorably. Train for that. Live for that. Make your life a quiet ledger of small, brutal wins. The day comes when the room bends, when conversations slow, when a glance toward you causes the bravest to recalibrate. In that instant, you do nothing dramatic. You stand. The silence you hold will scream louder than any rant. People will sense threat in the space between your shoulders and the air. They will adjust. That is power. That is the art of being a threat without words. Cultivate silence, patience, discipline, precision. Harden your body and your attention. Make scarcity your ally. Let the world fear a rumor, but never have a receipt. Appear rarely, act decisively, disappear again. When danger is necessary, it will be unavoidable and perfect. In the end, the man who can make storms with his absence is the man who will never be controlled, who charts outcomes without needing permission, who bends reality with quiet hands. Become that man, and the world will learn to speak of you in whispers.